Welcome to the wonderful Akiva Solemani.
Hello, I'm Akiva. I was a maths teacher for 40 years, retired now. And a topic that's always fascinated me is the topic of the calendar across different cultures and different times. Over 6,000 years ago, the Egyptians had a calendar in which one year contained 365 days. It had 12 months, each with 30 days, plus 5 extra heavenly days. About 5,000 years ago, the Babylonians had a calendar which one year had 360 days, 12 months of 30 days in each month. Every 6 years they would have an extra 13th month, also with 30 days. We still use their number 360 for degrees in a whole circle. They used a base of 60 instead of our base 10, and we still use their base of 60 in our seconds and minutes, 60 seconds a minute, 60 minutes an hour. In China, about 4,500 years ago, they had a calendar in which each day was divided into only 12 hours, but each hour was equal to 120 minutes. Between 300 AD and 900 AD, there was a very advanced civilization in Central America called the Maya, until they were wiped out by the Spanish. The Maya had 2 calendars, 2 types of year, which they used at the same time. Don't know how they did it. One type of year was called the Tzolkin. This was their sacred year, with only 260 days. There were 20 day names, reading downwards: Ik, Manik, Eb, Kaban, etc. I won't go through them all. Each day name had a number 1 to 13 in front. So it had 1 Ik, 2 Ik, 3 Ik, etc. down to 13 Ik, then 1 Manik, 2 Manik, etc. down to the last one, 13 Imik. The Maya's second type of year was called the Harb. The Harb had 365 days contained in 19 months. 18 months had 20 days each, with one closing month of 5 days. The names of the 19 months, reading downwards: Pop, Uo, Zip, Zots, wonderful names, I won't read them all. In ancient Rome, the year used to start in March. That's why our months, September, October, November, December, still have prefixes: Sept for 7, Oct for 8, Nov for 9, and Dec for 10. The Roman year at first had 304 days, divided into 10 months of varying lengths. Numa Pompilius, 715-672 BC, later added 2 more months, January and February. He was the legendary second king of Rome, succeeding Romulus, the legendary founder of Rome. Now the calendar became so messed up that it became 80 days out of its astronomically correct place. So Julius Caesar knew that the year was really about 365 and a quarter days. When I say Julius Caesar, I mean his scientific advisors and astronomers. The extra quarter of a day made a big difference cumulatively over a long period. Every 4 years, the year would be a whole day out. So in 46 BC, Julius Caesar decreed that that year had to have 445 days, an extra 80 days to make it catch up. He also decreed that from the next year onwards, each year had to have 365 days with an extra day every 4 years, a leap year. Each year would now have 12 months. The Roman year now looked like this: Martius, Aprilus, Maius, Junius, Quintilis, Sextilis, Septembris, Octobris, Novembris, Decembris, Januarius, Februarius. Later, Julius Caesar decreed that the year should begin on January the 1st instead of March. Julius Caesar was born in the month of Quintilis, and that name was changed in his honour to Julius, our present-day July. Later, the month Sextilis was changed to Augustus, in honour of Augustus Caesar, our present-day August. The trouble is, the year, the time it takes for the Earth to travel once around the Sun, is not exactly 365 and a quarter days. The year to the nearest second is 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, 46 seconds. And the year varies by about 0.59 seconds per century. This 5 hours, 48 minutes, 46 seconds is nearly 6 hours. And 6 hours would be a quarter of a day. But it's 11 minutes, 14 seconds short of 6 hours. This meant that every 128 years, the year would be out by 1 day. To make the final adjustments, Pope Gregory XIII, or rather his advisors and astronomers, in 1582, that's over 1600 years later after Julius Caesar, he said that October the 4th should be followed by October the 15th, missing out the 10 days in between. And thereafter, 3 leap days must be dropped out of every 4 centuries. Thus, every whole century number must be divisible by 400, not just by 4. For example, the years 1600 and 2000 are leap years, but 1700, 1800 and 1900 are not leap years, even though they're divisible by 4. So in this way, the calendar wouldn't need adjusting again for another 3,000 years. In Britain, Pope Gregory's adjustment wasn't accepted. It was an attitude, we're not having any bloody foreigners telling us what to do. Sound familiar? Until 1752, in 1752, they realised that yes, it's a sensible thing to do, after a gap of 170 years. So in Britain, in 1752, September the 2nd was followed by September the 14th, missing out 11 days. 11 days, not just 10 like before, because the intervening year, 1700, had been a leap year in Britain, but not in Pope Gregory's adjustment. There were riots in Britain, people marching and trying to give us back our 11 days. People thought that their lives had been shortened by 11 days. Now, BC, as we know, stands for before Christ, and AD stands for the year of our Lord. Thus, the dating of years in Christian cultures starts with the birth of Jesus Christ. Actually, Christ was probably born in 4 AD. Other cultures have used different world events as a starting point for their dating systems. The ancient Greeks started their numbering of years from the first Olympic Games in 776 BC in our dating system. The Romans took as their starting point the supposed foundation of Rome by Romulus in 753 BC. The Babylonians used the start of the reign of their king Nabonassar in 747 BC. Today, Muslims start with the flight of the Prophet Muhammad from Mecca in 622 AD. Jews start with what they calculate as the creation of the world, which they calculate as 3761 BC. The Jewish year has 12 months of either 29 or 30 days, with an additional month, a leap month, added periodically. This extra month is added in 7 years in a 19-year cycle. So years 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 17 and 19, they all have an extra month. Now, the German mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss, now I'm going on to now that sheet that was all on your chest. Now, don't panic. I know it looks horrendous, but trust me, I'm going to talk you through it, and each bit of it is very easy. He devised a beautiful formula to calculate the day of the week from any date, from 15th September 1752, the start of the Gregorian calendar in Britain. Professional mathematicians reckon the 3 greatest mathematicians in history were Archimedes, Isaac Newton and Gauss. And they reckon the greatest of the 3 was Gauss, because Gauss created the most new, important maths, more than anyone else. This is a portrait of the great man. When he was a very young child at school, his maths teacher wanted a bit of a rest, so he told his class to add up all the numbers 1 to 100, thinking it would occupy them for a long while. Gauss put up his hand after about 10 seconds and told him the correct answer, 5,050. This is how he did it. He saw that you can pair the numbers off, working inwards from the 2 ends. 1 plus 100 is 101. 2 plus 99 is 101. 3 plus 98 is 101. and so on. So you had 50 pairs, each pair added up to 101. So 50 times 100 is 5,000, 50 times 1 is 50, so it's 5,050. Simples for him. His teacher realised that Gauss was a child prodigy, a child mathematical genius. Now this is his formula. Right? As I say, don't panic. It looks horrible. Let's explain what it is. Right, now W, that stands for the number of the day of the week, which is your answer, the answer you end up with. M is your month number. D is your day number. Y is the year number, the last 2 digits of the year. C is the century number, the first 2 digits of the year. Now, for this formula to work, this is one sort of thing. You've got to count March as the first month, right? So you've got to pretend that March is month 1. Now, that means that January is month 11 and February is month 12. So if it's January or February, you've got to count it as belonging to the previous year. Right? So if ever you want to try this out to work out what day of the week someone's born on, always stop and ask yourself, is it January or February? If it's January or February, pretend the year is 1 less. So if the date is January 1983, count the year as 1982. If the date is February 2000, count the year as 1999. Right, now the stuff in the square brackets, like 2.6m minus 0.2 is in square brackets. The square brackets mean only count the whole number bit. So if that bit in the square brackets comes to 7.4, just call it 7. If it comes to 7.9, still just call it 7. Don't round it, just drop that end bit. Now, what does that mod 7 at the end mean? Mod 7 just means keep taking away 7 until you're left with one of those remainders. If you keep taking away 7, it's got to be one of those, doesn't it? It's got to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 0. If the total is negative, you just keep adding back 7s. Right, now to simplify calculations, if the C number is 20, you can count those last 2 bits as just 0. If the C number is 19, you can count those 2 bits as just 1. It makes it a lot simpler. Bear with me. And let's face it, you're only going to want to find out dates of 2000 or 90, in the 1900s or the 2000s. You're not going to want to find out what day of the week something in 1852 is going to be. You could do, the formula would work for that. Right, now your final number gives you the day of the week. So if you end up with a 1, it's a Monday. 2 is a Tuesday, 3 is a Wednesday, 4 is a Thursday, 5 Friday, 6 Saturday, 0 would be Sunday. And then you're probably familiar with this rhyme. Monday's child is fair of face, Tuesday's child is full of grace, Wednesday's child is full of woe, Thursday's child has far to go. Friday's child is loving and giving, Saturday's child works hard for a living, but the child that's born on the Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and gay. 2 things about that. I think gay there means happy and carefree, not talking about your sexual proclivities. And also notice this is a Christian rhyme. They're saying that Sabbath day is a Sunday, but for Jews the Sabbath day is a Saturday, for Muslims the Sabbath day is a Friday. Right, so here's that formula. Now we're going to work it out bit by bit. Right, can somebody volunteer to give me their date of birth, please?
21st of June.
Hold on. 21st June. Yeah, and the year? 1987. Right, so March, April, May, June. So the month, we count it as month 4. Right, so M is 4, D is 21, Y is 87, and C is 19. It's not January or February, so we keep it as 1987. Okay, so the first bit, 2.6m minus 0.2. The month is 4. So 2.6 times 4 is, what is that, 10.4. Right, take away 0.2 is 10.2. So that bit comes to 10. So write down 10. Next bit, D, the D number. That's 21, 21st June, so 21. So add 21 onto that, you get 31. Plus Y, the year number. The year number's 87. So add 87 onto that, is 118. Plus Y over 4. So 19 over 4 is 4 and a bit. Just call it 4. You drop the bit, right? So that you add on 4. That comes 122. And the last bit, because it's the year century is 19, just treat that as 1. So you end up at 123. Total is 123. So take away 7s. See how many times 7 goes in that. Goes in 17 times, remainder 4. So 4. Monday, child verification. Thursday, child has far to go. So it's Thursday. Is that right? No? Are you sure? Have I done something wrong? I did make a mistake once. I think it was 1973. It's terrible. Right, let's go to it again. 21st of June, 1987, right? So M is 4. March, April, May, June is 4. D is 21. Y is 87. C is 19. So 2.6m times 4 is 5.2, 10.4. That becomes a 10. Plus the day number is 21. That comes to 31. Plus the Y number is 87. That's 118. Plus 19 over 4 is 4. That comes 122. 122 plus 1 is 123. 123 divided by 7 is 4. It is 4. Yeah, Y over 4, 19 over 4 is 4 and a bit. So you just treat it as 4. Oh, yes, you're right. Sorry. Right, let me try again. 10 plus D is 21, that's 31. Plus Y is 87, that's 118. Y over 4, 87 over 4 is 21. Plus 1. Ten, 31, 87 is 118, 21, it's 140. So it goes exactly, so it's remainder 0. So Sunday.
There we go.
Oh dear. How embarrassing. Anyway, that's it. So you can take this sheet home and hopefully you do it more accurately than me, and you can dazzle your friends. So I hope you found it a bit interesting.
Excellent. Akiva Solemani. Thank you very much, Akiva.